Hey everyone, Hans here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today I wanted to make another video about tactics of the wretched, and one of their main tactics that is worth talking about right now, I guess, is them giving the perception that they are the hero. Cannot give you any answers in regards to this in particular. It's only something I've noticed over the years, but now perhaps more so than ever is perhaps be honest with oneself. How many people are there out there in any sphere that you've looked up to, or that you thought, oh, you know what, that has to be one of the good guys, right? Because his politics like close enough to mine, or whatever it's gonna be. And then you look out in the world today and you see just these masks slipping off one by one all over the place, right? Or perhaps I'm wrong. I don't think so in this instance. And then the question remains, what are you gonna do with that? Because I find that the hero or the wretch, both of them, are elevated by a third group, and that third group is what is usually referenced to as the masses, the normies, the NPCs, what have you. Most of them not exactly flattering terms, right? Or, more flattering perhaps, the people, the folk. Okay. The masses, I'm gonna keep it there, or the people, I'm gonna use those two. The masses slash the people decide who of the two is going to be elevated, or perhaps the masses can, the people can choose to elevate themselves somehow. Although then again, when do you ever even really see people standing up for the people, and then it always comes back to certain individuals getting control, or not individuals, certain little collectives get all the control, and again over the masses. The masses, the people in themselves, can in a certain sense be quite a non-entity. That is perhaps a bit hard for many to understand, not out of lack for intellect, but a lack of... it's more so an emotional blow, I guess. Because this is what most of us have been raised with, stand by our people. And that is a good thing. But it is also something that gets taken advantage of quite a lot. Just a second, I'm gonna look at something. Thought I saw some deer tracks earlier on my way, so I got a bit curious. Anyways, no, a few birds. Anyways, the masses, the people, in a certain sense, are a non-entity. Let's think away for a moment nationalities, etc. Because even honestly, what does that even mean anymore? Just the entire world can walk into your country and call themselves like a member of your country, even though not in the entirety of their heritage has anyone contributed to the culture that you stem from. The country, the culture, anything really. But all of a sudden they can walk in and claim to be, one of your family, if you will. It's absolutely insane. But yeah. The people, the masses, can then only, by extent, elevate those who stand apart from them. Those tend to be the villains, the wretches, by merit of being, anti-life, essentially, and then the hero to be, for life, or at the very least stand for what, for strong, healthy morals that come from within the heart and the soul. Sage-like, if you will. If was it Jung that used that term, or some other philosopher? Don't quote me on that one, I guess. That's worth looking into oneself, and I definitely need to look into that more myself as well. Yeah, so Okay, either the wretch or the hero is going to be elevated then by the masses, the people, as a representative of the masses and the people. Even though at the end of the day, the wretch is only going to be interested in him or herself, and the hero is on some level not that interested to be part of the masses of the people either. Ever noticed that? A hero will take people along, but demands that everyone who comes with him is his or her own guy or girl. And that is actually pretty healthy when you think about it. It's again, the wretch will use artificial hierarchy. The hero, by extent of being the hero, always will embrace natural hierarchy. That is just my way of looking at things, and if you find that unacceptable, well, so be it. If you find it acceptable, well, also so be it, right? uh, so where do I continue from this point? So what the wretch then needs to do, presenting oneself as moral, decent, as the hero in fact. If the masses, the people, have been in some fashion been browbeaten enough to accept that, well, they're gonna elevate anyone. Or even over the centuries, you have heroes who build up a nation, if you will, or they do lead the people, and then wretches somehow manage to parasitize their way in, some way, somehow, and they get to take the place where once heroes stood. But the people just assume the place with being heroic, rather than the actual individual who holds that place. There's no differentiation there. Well, you're very quickly going to end up in situations where it's all gonna go crumbling down. No? What then is the solution? Maybe I'll get into that in a bit, what my thoughts on it are. But to recognize that in and of itself is already what I would say very important. And in the white positive sphere also, it's guys. There are such types in the white positive sphere too. Oh, they'll pose like heroes, alright. But are they? Have you stood face to face to them to be able to perceive that? Can you? So what is in this? Yeah, maybe what I'll give a brief thought on the solution then. It's basically uh, Jason and the Argonauts. That's actually a pretty okay example, I think. Or maybe Beowulf and his men. There's something similar. You basically have what they like to call the alpha guy or the super alpha, the hyper alpha. Um, Basically, the guy among guys or the girl among girls, whatever, and he has vision. He has he has the strength. He has the soul. That is the most important part. Like this unbending self-respect and this just go-to attitude. A Jason or a Beowulf. Do you think that these types need to browbeat people into following them? I don't think so myself. I think that they attract other alphas. Imagine that, you know? Imagine that you could actually have a group of people and all of them are alphas of some kind or the other. Doesn't even mean that they are all copies of each other, far from it, no. The point of being an alpha is that you're your own person, that you have self-respect. As I like to think so. Does an alpha need to have huge muscles or a hyper brain or whatever you want to call it? Definitely helps. Yeah, definitely helps. You should always self-improve. That is part of it. So, Jason or Beowulf both, they have a certain life's mission, if you will. And that goes for every hyper alpha. Oh man. I'm not really sure it's wise of me to use these terms, but I'm gonna roll with it right now. And they set on a journey. But like people, we are a group species. To do things solo is a bit difficult for us. It's not how we're meant to function. the healthy version of that then is that, okay, Beowulf, can you imagine it stands at the Geatland shores and he presents himself before his people, his tribe, the people, there we go, the mass, if you will, and says, okay, I need every chat, or at least X amount of chats with me on this journey, and we're gonna go to Herof, to Denmark. We're gonna slay the beast, or whatever. You know, that is terrorizing King, what's his face again? The king of Denmark at the time. Oh, man, now I feel sad that I don't know the name, because I really should. Um, yeah, and every, among the people then, there is this elevation of the hero. It's like, oh, look what amazing guy. Look at his muscles. Look at his handsome beard. Look at those blue piercing eyes. All of that good stuff, yeah. Um, but then the alphas among the mass will be like, yeah, you know what? I always like to see a part of the world, or saving people. That's my thing. That's something I can appreciate, or it will be a good experience for me. Just test of character. Or I like a little bit of danger to harden my soul. All of these, whatever decent reason, or could even be something like, yeah, I always wanted to meet the Danes, or I've a family there. I need to look out for my family, don't I? Or yeah, whether it is selfish or duty or even just a bit of whim, then all of these other alpha guys will join in, and they get their shields, they get their axes, their swords, or with Jason's, like, even Hercules joined the Argonauts. How many know that? It's like, doesn't get much more, like, how alpha do you need to be as to attract an alpha like Hercules, right? It's like, oh yeah, energy, action, adventure, all of that good stuff. And they set off, and the entire crew consists of every person there is, his own man or his own woman. Yeah, sure, they're heeding Beowulf, or they're heeding Jason, sailing the ships, the what is it, the Argos, or whichever. I don't know if Beowulf named this longship. Um, and they set off, and at any time, they can say, you know what, I'm done, or I don't care, or what have you. Like, it's been good. I've seen enough, which, by the way, also happens in the story of Jason, where Hercules at some point says, you know what, guys, it's been good, but now I've got to go my own path again. Does Jason then need to, pull out his sword and threaten Hercules? No, you come with me. Bleh. No. All those people are there because they want to be there, because they need to be there, maybe. Definitely because they want to be. It's their choice. Personal, individual choice. Nobody put a gun against their heads, or a sword, or bow and arrow, whatever. They were there because they want to be. Yeah, like oh, Aesir. No, that was one of the Danish men, I think. Wiglaf. I think that is one of Beowulf's men. I've read the story, and I've also seen the movies, and sometimes it becomes a bit confusing. But anyways, get the gist. Now, what does a wretch need to do? And a wretch can look good, by the way. Can have these big bulging muscles, can have those piercing blue eyes, just like Beowulf would have, or Jason, or just the perfect physique. Looks very good, has all the right attire going. But what is the motivation there? I guess, the difference is that Beowulf would definitely go out there to save the Danes, his family over there that he has, perhaps, and he actually became, well, king by, not really by choice, as far as I see that, in some of the stories. There's actually so many writings about that, but yeah. Beowulf becomes a king, and it's really by merit of his deeds, and not even necessarily by his own will. There's even one of the movies, and it's not even that good of a movie, but he ended up regretting that he became a king. It's like he thought he wanted that in that particular movie, but nah, he just wanted to be his own man. The king within. And he confused that with the king on the throne, with his crown and all of that stuff. All of those accessories. But the wretch, oh boy. Yeah, the wretch is going there because he knows, you know what, I've got fighting men. And I'm gonna bully them into line. Or maybe just, add a bit of syrup on his words and like, hey, come on, we'll get rich, dude. We'll have strength, we'll have power. Ooh, don't you want that too? And there's gonna be similar types, similar wretches who will join him and think, yeah, money, the attention of pretty girls, or slaying things because they like slaying things. That's it. On the outset, to the people, the masses, it looks the same, really. And maybe I should add to it that a Beowulf might actually have a wretch in his crew that manages to hide him or herself well enough. Their true nature. Who are just there in the hope that the Danes will be generous with wealth. At the same time, the villain may by chance attract one of these alphas by accident. The alpha thinks, because doesn't really see what is going on for real, and it's just, yeah, saving the Danes, I'm coming to. Not realizing he's surrounded by hyenas. It's a bit complicated, isn't it? But that's part of it. It's part of life. We're gonna meet good and bad people everywhere, as they say, which is a very simple way of putting it, but it's true. That's why it's individually important that you do stand up for yourself, and that whenever you partake, for example, for white well-being, you strengthen yourself. Self-improvement. That's our ancestral way in the first place. That's why wretches were, they were there. By accident, some way, somehow, I guess they're always going to be around. But there's going to be far less of them. Far less influential. In the Viking series that I'm making, I'm working on that, by the way, still. At this point in time, it's just that all kind of matters have gotten in the way, but that's by the wayside at this point in time. But you will see there as well, if you pay attention, that those who are told to be heroic, not so much, and vice versa too. And you will see both kind of types all over the place. Even on the what you might call the good side or the bad side. Good people on the bad side, bad people on the good side. What then is important to the solution to that, or one of them, as I see it, is you need to be your own man, your own woman. Seriously. It's difficult, it's scary. But if you do not take control of yourself, of your own being, someone else will. That's the reality. And the way I've put it before is also, man goes in groups. Well, you choose. Are you gonna be in a pack or gonna be in a herd? I think that is worth keeping in the back of your mind when it comes to this topic. Yeah. So the perception of presenting themselves as heroes, whereas they're villains, looking at the end result and also the potential motivation of their actions, and try to not be part of the mass / the people. That sounds weird in a certain sense, but if you can do that, then again you can look out for others. If you look after yourself, you can look out for others after that. And looking out for yourself has nothing to do with screwing someone else over in the process. That's what a wretch will do. Got to look out for number one, bro. Is that so? But to love yourself, to respect yourself, capital S, crucial. That's how you become a Beowulf. Or even if it's like that, alpha, not a hyper alpha. Still using these terms. That's still good. And look at the contempt that goes through the public sphere right for betas, beta males, beta females is actually something that should be talked about more as well, actually. They are despised, always talked about in a despised manner. Why is that? Nobody forces that on anyone to be like that. Then try not to be just that. And once you are an alpha yourself, then you can be inspiring to others. That is what I see the gods are. Are definitely in part something of our culture for. And that you can be an alpha in many different fields or multiple fields at once, that's up to you. That's up to your personal capacities, experiences, what you want to do, all of that. Yeah. I think, can we prevent then the wretches from presenting themselves as the hero? Well, it comes back down to letting yourself be bullied or led this way or the other, right? Wretches don't like people who are self-respecting. That's why they train, indoctrinate children to be the opposite, to be self-loathing. Because self-loathing people are the most vulnerable. Mind you, there is such a thing as victims who become victimizers themselves. I've also seen a type like that. People who have followed me from the start know perhaps who I'm on about, or definitely some already do. I've been getting comments, let's say, and that is good. These people are, the ones who gave me these comments, they're learning as well, as certainly as I had to learn. But I bet you, most people who will be listening to this, probably in whichever part of their life, will come across these wretches too. Oh, and one more thing, the wretch hates sunlight. Will pretend to be the bearer of sunlight though, while they are cloaked in shadow, their real selves. Shine a light on their real nature. They'll go running in all directions. They'll drop everything on the spot. Because a wretch, the first victim of the wretch, and is this Hegel? Or is this... I need to check up on my philosophers again. The first victim of the wretch is the self of the wretch. The wretch kills off or betrays his or her own soul before anything else. That's why they have no qualms with hurting other souls. They did it to themselves, so now they're exempt and can do it to anyone they meet. And they can, look pretty or dress handsomely, whatever it's gonna be. And but they will stay away from those who respect themselves. They may try, here and there, out of fascination, try to get close. Because there is a weird fascination that wretches have. Like they're fascinated because they don't understand it. Sort of curiosity. Yeah. But then, If you respect yourself, you won't take any nonsense from them. And that's the point where they leave. If you buy their nonsense, if you let the vampire in your house, so to say, trouble is gonna follow real quick. Also, if you talk with people, and even if it's been fun at first, but afterwards you feel drained and you felt like you had to walk on eggshells, or it increasingly becomes so, or like I said in my last video, like they pay you a compliment at first, but then that compliment becomes a moral cudgel afterwards, as in they might say, "Oh, you're so great," and then like 2 weeks later, I thought you were great and look at you now," that sort of thing. It's where you call them out for being, I don't know, an emotional vampire or whatever. It's like just stick just point out them to them, just call them out. They will get verbally abusive, but again, if you respect yourself, you won't take that. That's the cure. And for white well-being in general, self-respecting whiteys all over the place is definitely something that will make anti-whites sweat more than anything else, because those are the people who won't take any of these anti-white lies, won't even feel the need to explain anything, and will just stand by what's right. They'll be the Jasons, they'll be the Beowulfs, they'll be the Tolkiens, what have you. Yeah, I think I've said my piece for now. I guess let me know if I need to talk about this more or not. It's up to you guys. And yeah, gonna leave it here. You'll have a good one, and bye bye.